Hello and welcome. This is Papa Zappa, and we're here with part 6 of Mercenaries 2 for the Xbox 360. On today's episode, we are going to be doing pirate content, then some more pirate content, and then some more pirate content. I hope you like the Jamaican pirates in this game. I think they're really cool as a faction. I think their dialogue is really cool. Their vehicles are alright. Their missions do suck chungus, though. So, if you're here for frustrated / rage Zappa, there is a pretty darn good chance you're going to be getting some of that today. Yeah. Let's go ahead and try and get ourselves a helicopter somewhere. I'm sure you're all very aware, based off of my 35 oil count, that there's no... There's no way that I can call in a helicopter at the moment, so we're just going to have to bum a ride, and then hopefully one shows up in the sky. At the bare minimum, I know some spawn up north in Maracaibo. What are you doing there?
Outfits this way.
Alright, thankfully there's a Raven here and just waiting for us to just take. No. Would you look at that? For the first time, the whole map is open to us. So, the capital city of Caracas, this eastern city of Cumana where the Chinese are hanging out, and the island of Margarita are all available for us to mess around in. So that's pretty cool. The reason we waited to do the pirate stuff until now, because it was technically available, is simply because without the entirety of the map opened up, there wouldn't be the option to handle some of the side content that they have. Yeah, we'll go with that. Particularly the HVTs, maybe some destroy targets. Ooh, we want the spike. Oh! Oh, that was pretty sick.
You're stealing my ride.
I didn't know you could jump out like that and get in the gunner seat like that. That's really cool. Now, the motorcycles in this game handle pretty well. You are very much liable to like rocket propel yourself into death with them. So be careful. Oh jeez. Yeah.
Should, right?
You know, in that regard, it's not that much different from a motorcycle in real life, because, you know, the difference between a motorcycle and a car is pretty much like a ton of steel protecting you or not.
You've just crossed into the city limits of Maracaibo.
In fact, I got a little lore from you, or for you from my family. Every single male in my family who's gotten on a motorcycle has crashed on it and had something horrible happen to them. Except for me, because I haven't been on like anything but really a dirt bike, and even when I was, it wasn't that much. Oh, yeah. Pretty simple to mess yourself up. Oh, there's those helicopters we were talking about. Let's hope they're within range for us to steal. A little too high in the air. Maybe this one? No, also a little too high in the air. Alright. Let's keep driving. Take the leisurely way up to the pirates, I suppose. Now, you might be wondering why we didn't transit up there using Ewan. Pretty sure that because we never did any of their missions, it doesn't even count as that having happened. Let's go into the fishing village. We're not going to take this boat yet. Well, not at all. We're going to go to the other side of the peninsula first before we worry about that.
I don't understand what these people want. The gorillas are a joke. BLAB, it's
It's nice that every single NPC has lines. No one's just walking around without talking. Makes the world feel more alive, more vibrant. Also, nice color scheme on this motorboat. Oh, sorry. Let's see where they want us to go. A little further east. Okay. So, what makes the Pirates special, I'll reiterate it again since we're going right into it, is that they are the ones who sell you the VZ Army equipment. So if you want that Jaguar tank, if you want the Anaconda helicopter we used last episode, or the Iguana Technical, anything like that, you're gonna have to work with the Pirates. They have some unique vehicles, but they're pretty much just reskins of Venezuelan stuff. Only a couple of them are really unique. Oh, they also give you, there's a lot of civilian vehicles that they have for like the stunt enthusiasts out there. I think this is where we want to go. Oh, no. Lol. Looks like we got some more walking to do. It's nice how aesthetically different each of the factions are. None of them feel at all the same. You really get a grasp of like the kind of the culture behind them, the different ideas that motivate them. Pirates, for example, they're very much like us. In fact, they might be the most like us out of any of the factions because they're interested in money pretty much more than anything else. Alright, we made it.
Hey, Jennifer Mui. Ready to turn to a life of crime? We'd get some good loot with you on board.
Make it quick. Time is...
Alright, so pilot supply drop, not the best. Russian sniper kit, not the best. In fact, none of these do I care about. Blended with the twist, though, I do care.
I'm in.
Not because I want any of the rewards for it, but because that's what we're here to do, is these missions. To show you that it is possible. Boy, can they be annoying. Thankfully, level 1 and 2 aren't so bad on this particular one. Level 3 is where it gets pretty dicey. Yeah, as you can see, compared to like that sports car one we were doing before, the time is already much tighter. And that's on level 1. You can go over the jump here. For the later levels, I'm going to recommend you don't do that. And just go to the side of it. But for level 1, it should be okay. Pretty sure a unique soundtrack is also playing on this level, but I can't really hear it. I mean, for what it's worth, the jet ski has a decent sound effect. Like, I'm not annoyed by it, and I believe it's a jet ski, so it's nice. It helps that the water is fairly good as well. Now, be really careful coming around this corner. Don't hug the island too close, because there is a... right around here, yeah, there's an enemy autocannon just waiting for you. And then there's Universal Petroleum, so keep honking, definitely, or else they're going to shoot at you. And ideally, you're going to want to make sure that you have all of your people at that level. Or, not that level, but the level where they don't hate you. So you want them to be friendly. If you recall the patrol boat mission, level 3 from last time. Alright, we're doing pretty good. I think we're over halfway now. So there's some sections where you're going to have to take damage when you go over those ramps. I personally think it was really rude for the developers to have your jet ski take damage when you go over a ramp, especially if they want you to do it. Just makes it a little more difficult. Now these mines, definitely watch out for them. Don't touch them. And in this section, be careful because there are a couple Venezuelan patrol boats coming up. That's it right there. Oh no, it's UP this time, thank goodness. Now, don't be fooled. Sometimes there are Venezuelan, well, the VZ, more appropriately, are in these areas that look like they're pirate controlled, but it's fully controlled by the VZ. So there's definitely some Kung Fu treachery going on. But we made it past level 1 just fine. Alright, so now, as you can see, all of the pirate side missions have been opened up. And what they want us to do is verify HVTs and destroy targets like all the others, but then there's also a bunch of different missions they have for us as well. Now these missions, I mean, you saw level 1 just now. I only made it with 44 HP from the looks of it, around there. That's not really enough. And then the other mission that just opened up, Yo Ho Ho and a bottle full of rum, something like that, is also horrible. It's so much harder. So, here we go. I do like this pirate semi-truck they have. It's pretty cool. I don't know what they need so many semi-trucks for without trailers, but perhaps they follow the rule of cool, which is something I appreciate, certainly.
What, you think right here?
Alright, let's go on.
The work you've been doing?
You need help with something.
Alright, we're gonna try the Yo Ho Ho and a bottle, oh, a truck full of rum. There are 3 levels to this.
I'm in.
All of them
Bunch
are
of
bullshit.
blessings.
Every single one of them. To steal from the Universal Petroleum warehouse, it's a restricted area. So as soon as you go in there, UP is going to call you out. This is one mission where I believe it's technically possible to use a helicopter to transport the truck. But whenever you pick up a truck that has stuff in the back that you're not supposed to spill out, there's a pretty good chance it just rocket propels itself out and you automatically fail. So, you know, awesome. Glad to hear that. Really happy that they're treating us so well. I'm just going to go ahead and look for a boat. That's our strategy right now to get over there. As soon as I spot one, we'll grab it.
Look at that foxy British merc. Why don't
Not having too much luck at the moment with boats. Let's see. Maybe if we're lucky enough, it'll cost less than 40. No, we are not. Alright. I'm pretty sure 40 is like the minimum a boat can cost. Well, I don't want to just swim across. So the 2 options I'm thinking of here are either we find some oil to steal and do that, or we find a boat. Well, okay, the 3 options, or we find a helicopter. Oh boy. And then secret option 4 is we swim back, but that does seem a bit torturous. Alright, well since we've got some downtime here, I might as well ask you guys, what are some of your favorite LEGO games, if any? I, for one, am really only fond of like LEGO Star Wars 1, 2, and the complete saga, as far as LEGO Star Wars is concerned, and then LEGO Indiana Jones is pretty good too. Certainly not against it. I played the demo for LEGO Pirates of the Caribbean, but I wasn't too impressed. And then every time I've seen LEGO games that have dialogue, I've been really saddened, honestly. I like the slapstick. I like the challenges that not having dialogue makes. Kind of like a silent movie almost. And I was really disappointed by LEGO Jurassic Park. For a couple of reasons. The number one reason is, I believe I mentioned it before, but Jurassic Park 3, in case you haven't caught it, is my favorite of the series. And in that game, they make you play Jurassic Park 1 and 2 before you're allowed to play, before they give you the privilege to play 3. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I really dislike Jurassic Park 2. Jurassic Park 1, like, it's okay. It's whatever. It doesn't bother me none. But 2, I actively dislike. The main female, the main female protagonist, I really dislike how danger prone she is. It's almost as much of an idiot plot as like Avengers Infinity War, which I know it's going to get me some hate because that movie is not my favorite, but it certainly was like one of the biggest cultural icons of its day. I also didn't really like Endgame either. I don't know. There's not too many of those films the MCU has where I really do like them. Alright, so let's go ahead and take this out of here. Now, did that anger Universal Petroleum? I'm curious. Maybe we go to factions, I believe it'll tell us. Oh, excellent, it didn't do anything. Or if it did, it was very moderate. So, some advice I have to do this mission. Try and dodge gunfire. Do your best there. Definitely try and avoid hitting other cars. UP, it doesn't matter if you honk, they're still gonna shoot at you. Try and avoid going on too predictable of a route, because you can pretty much guarantee that if you go on the main road... Oh hey, there was a UN Humvee there. Yeah, now that the UN and China are involved, the UN will patrol Caracas and Maracaibo. Yeah, try and not hit anything. Be careful of the road right here, because if you recall from either last video or I can't remember which video, but one of the previous ones, that road isn't perfectly flat. Like there's a pothole in it. Now be careful of this M3 Bradley. It can punk you, and it's really not going to... Oh, the Chinese are there! Huh, I've never seen them there before. I thought they stayed to the east portion of the map. Cool. Now, if it isn't obvious, the UN and the PLAV are parent factions to the... I'm sorry, did I say UN and PLAV? I meant UN and China. Our parent factions to our PLAV and UP, with the Chinese being for the PLAV and the UN for the Universal Petroleum respectively. So they'll be friendly with each other pretty much automatically. Now I do see a bunch of oil nearby. We are going to take advantage of that because we are dreadfully low on oil, as the game keeps reminding us.
I'm telling you, man, it's real high.
Hello. So one thing you can do, even if you steal oil, you can just run away. And if you get far enough away fast enough, it basically doesn't count.
Coming in for a pickup. My vehicle.
And it looks like we were able to successfully do that. There we go. Awesome. Alright, now let's go ahead and call in a transport helicopter, just to get us back and forth. This is where the rogue transport I find is the best of the transports. If you're just trying to get around, it's the best of any vehicle to just get around the map, in my opinion. Very maneuverable, very fast, as we've described before. Very cheap to call in. You're not going to be shooting anything, obviously, but that's not what you're trying to do with this rogue.
Don't worry about me, boss.
It's nice that there are different niches for the for the vehicles in this game, and that it's not clear always which one you should bring. You have choices. Now that particular helicopter is the Liberator. That helicopter can lift tanks up. So definitely consider getting access to that if having tanks being lifted up is something you think it would be necessary to have. And now it can be kind of funny to have a tank in a place it shouldn't be. So like if you drop it on the oil rig, for example, or if you just pick up an enemy tank and just drop it in the ocean, that works as an insta-kill. Thankfully, that first mission with the bottle of rum went well. The reason that I've been apprehensive and a little, I wouldn't say fearful, but yeah, honestly a little fearful of these missions is the last time I played this game back in March, they were really bending me over a barrel on those levels over and over again, and it was getting to me. Alright, so we're going to break it up and switch back to the jet ski level this time. As we learned from previous playthroughs, there's a good chance, the previous videos, there's a good chance that the jets, or our helicopter, will be right there, waiting for us.
You need help with... I'll do it.
The pirates have sent me the coordinates of one of their smuggling routes. These guys are...
There's our helicopter. And with all luck, it will be there when we come back. So go to the side, it counts. Now, don't try and skip any gates, because they won't let you do that. They will punish you severely for trying that. Do not recommend that. And remember, just like the monster truck, you can control this thing in midair, which is a nice feature. That is more arcadey, and I appreciate it. Not everything has to be realistic. I will say the water is definitely pretty nice on this level. Yeah, be careful with that cannon. Thankfully, it only took us to 82 this time instead of 50. Now, I am honking just in case those Universal Petroleum boats decide to mess with me. Now, these pirate gunboats are the biggest vehicles they have, but unfortunately, I am pretty confident that it's the worst gunboat in the game, because you have the Venezuelan one, which it's got a cannon and some rockets. You have the Chinese one, which has some missiles, which is really cool. Then you have a smaller, like, American gunboat. It's okay. It's more akin to the patrol. I think it is a patrol boat. I don't really think it's a gunboat. They might call it one, but they're capping. Now we have a full minute left, so we're not worried about taking the time to readjust ourselves right. Alright, there we go. Because despite the fact that they want you to go through these obstacles, the game, it isn't really made to handle them perfectly. And I think a lot of that has to come down to, I doubt that it's Pandemic's incompetence, but I do think that it's the crunch time they were put under by EA to try and make this game a massive success. Now, Be careful of this Venezuelan gunboat here. Oh, my bad. UP. That's 2 times in a row now I've said that. Oh. Nice. I appreciate that, tank. That was really nice of you. Just insta-kills us like that. You know, it's certainly something when games have hyper-efficient AI who are extremely accurate. I prefer it to them not just missing you all the time, and like not even being there really. I'm not really here to feel like I'm Rambo. I guess that does bring an interesting question. What am I here to feel like I'm being if I'm playing Mercenaries 2? Well, definitely a mercenary, but not like a standard one who just dies on the front line without getting paid. This is like a super mercenary. So with that in mind, it is kind of like a superhero, or well, an anti-hero, I guess, probably the most. And so in that regard, it makes sense that they handle it with some levity, and they make light of the situation in this game. Perhaps they realized how innately silly the concept was after making Mercenaries 1. So now, to dodge that tank this time, I think my strategy is just going to be go further on the right of that waterway. Because we were in the center, and I didn't even know a tank had fired. I didn't hear the barrel, and we just got struck like one of Mike Tyson's victims in the ring and during his golden age of his career. Speaking of Mike Tyson, I don't know if there ever was a more disappointing fight I've seen than Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Really tragic, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if he intentionally threw, but he is an old man now, so it's not impossible he just lost to the guy. I mean, it more reflects on Jake Paul's character that he just wants to fight old men past their prime. Did that count? Oh, excellent. Instead of other people the same age. Alright, here we go. Approaching the segment where we got just absolutely obliterated. Hugging the right here. I'm watching this, whatever it was. I don't think it was a tank. In fact, I don't even see anything over there. It may benefit us to destroy all of those destroy buildings, but I don't think that despawns the enemies over there, so probably not. Alright. Ooh! I almost celebrated our victory, but we could have very easily just gotten destroyed again. Thankfully, we did pass level 2 just now. Alright. Let's go ahead and take our leisurely stroll back to the mission center to get some more missions. Optimus Prime's cousin here. You know, now that I mentioned Transformers, I might as well ask what everyone's favorite Transformers are. Can't just say one, feel free to list some. I remember back when I was in elementary school, that was like my favorite thing of all time was Transformers. I could just talk about them all day. Nowadays, I'd say my favorite's probably like Optimus Prime and Starscream for the Autobots and Decepticons respectively. There's some other cool ones too though.
Hey, it's the Merc. Always a good time when the Merc's around.
You need help with...
Alright, we're going back to Yo-Ho-Ho in a truck full of rum.
I'm in.
This time the UP Mercs are
Alright,
gonna be looking
and our helicopter is gone. Awesome. Well, you know, the best laid plans of mice and men, as they say. Alright, let's go ahead and drive this thing. Show you what being in a gunboat's like. Now this one doesn't have, the reason I said it's the worst is because it doesn't have any weapons aside from the side-mounted machine guns you see on the front left and right of the vessel. But that's not a problem. We're just using it for transport, and we just got to go across the pond, so not that big a deal. Here, we'll beach our vessel. Go ahead and get on out a little early because oh come on, don't. Oh boy, maybe that wasn't the best choice of vehicle. We're going to try and just go ahead and run past these guys, grab this, and drive on out. Alright, we did it. Excellent. Now, I'm curious to see if that hurt our... Okay, it didn't. Even better. Yeah, if that hurt our standing with Universal Petroleum, it'd be unfortunate, but thankfully it doesn't. Yeah, now they've turned it up. That Archer gun truck was not there in level 1. Oh, and if you recall the Bradley blocking the south gate of the city in part 1 of this challenge. If you're enemies with the UN, that Bradley will annihilate you, and I believe that was where a lot of the consternation came from some of my last playthrough's attempts. That was actually a good use of the double 50 cal on that gun truck to go left and right there, because they do have 2 on it. The gun trucks are a curious vehicle addition to me because they serve the same purpose as the APC without being nearly as tough and kind of being a lot slower, honestly. So hearing this music kind of reminds me of like something you would hear in Aloha Scooby-Doo, for those of you who have seen it. The one where they go to Hawaii. Came out in 2005. Pretty goofy. I do like the song, the song of the same title, Aloha Scooby-Doo. It's fun to listen to. I'm losing some cargo here, gotta be careful. Now, a way to avoid losing cargo is to go slower, but going too slow is annoying, so not too worried about it. And you run the risk of the Universal Petroleum ambushes hitting you for more damage. So you definitely have to balance it out. But we made it in with around double what they require, so it worked out just fine.
Not bad. Job done. Booze delivered.
Mojito's coming up.
Gotta remember to catch the game tomorrow.
Gonna take this oil again,
That'll come in handy.
since it respawned. Hello.
Oh, sorry, lady.
Coming in for a pickup.
Alright, and we got the oil. Let's go ahead and call that road transport in pretty much as soon as it's ready to go.
Viva Solano.
Okay, got a Solano supporter over there.
Here you go, boss.
I'm glad we took the effort to get this hunting pistol last time. It's really cool. And I did not remember it being nearly as fun to use as it is now. It probably helps that I almost always try and capture the HVTs in my playthroughs, but I felt like it would be more thematic and fitting with the game's narrative for this time around to not do that for the major HVTs, because this is a story about revenge. And handing them off to some foreign power for an amount of money it doesn't reflect revenge in the same way. Now, despite it getting dark like this, and then sometimes feeling like there's a sunset and a sunrise, there is no day-night cycle. maybe it was a feature that was planned. Not particularly sure. But I kind of don't mind, just because, I mean, yeah, it would have been better with a day-night cycle, but not every game has to have it. Like, Gen 3 didn't have it, despite Gen 2 having it, of Pokemon. For those of you who are curious what I meant there. And it was okay. It made evolving Espeon, or evolving to get Espeon and Umbreon a little weird. Pretty sure it might have actually been impossible if you didn't have Pokemon Stadium. I think that's how they did it. Or maybe it was Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. For any Pokemon heads in the audience, please let me know. Speaking of Pokemon, I am not against doing a Nuzlocke at some point. I've actually last year completed a couple ones. I did a Platinum Nuzlocke, a Black 2 Nuzlocke, and then I did like the first 4 badges of Emerald, and then I got bored and just dropped it. If I were to do one again, it would probably be something like Gen 4 or 5, perhaps Gen 3. Those are my favorite gens of Pokemon. I like Gen 6, but only if Wonder Trade is available would I want to do a Nuzlocke, so I could do a Wonder Lock. I think Wonder Trade is one of the best features they added to Pokemon. Alright, so here we are on part 3. The timer is pretty brutal. The enemies are going to be the same. So definitely conserve your health. Do it in the fastest time possible. Watch out for the enemies that you're aware of. They have been established up in part 1 and 2. They might throw in more. I can't remember right this second. Doing okay so far. Gotta get past this like oil thing right here. Only took 10 damage, so that's good. Now it says AA, so it's possible that's just the Czech 25mm AA they're talking about, and not the gunboat. But I never bothered looking to the left to find out, so maybe we'll see later when I'm doing the side missions like the HVTs and the destroy targets. Yeah, as you can see, the amount of time you get is a lot less generous on this level 3. But we're doing alright. I'm actually feeling pretty locked in as far as things are concerned, despite getting punked on level 2 last time. There we go, took it a little slower there, seemed to do alright. Get over the ramp. And you see, that's another thing that, like, really helps the realism versus arcade argument, I think. In this case, going in the arcade balance helps with the ramps being placed around randomly. No one's out here just placing ramps that you can jump over, right? But that doesn't mean it's not fun to do that in-game. Hence why we have the ramps. Even if they are janky and they damage our vehicle, which is pretty annoying, to say the least. You know, and that actually reminds me of another difference from Mercenaries 1 to 2. And that's the fact that in Mercenaries 1, it was possible to call in a vehicle like health refill, as well as I think a vehicle ammunition refill even, instead of just calling in a whole new vehicle. Just like that, we've completed level 3. And you know, at this point, I've realized I've brought up Mercenaries 1 quite a bit. I mean, inevitably, when you're playing a sequel, it probably will come up, the earlier iterations of that game. But I suppose that begs the question, will I do a playthrough of Mercenaries 1 on this channel? If there's a demand for it, certainly. I am much less well-versed in Mercenaries 1 than I am in 2. I've only beaten it, I believe, twice. Whereas I've beaten this game like 20, 30 times, something like that. It is very dark. in my experience. As in, it's difficult to see, not the themes are dark. I mean, they kind of are. So it makes it a little hard to play. I also...
Hey, Mr. Merc.
It's an odd criticism, but I have a problem with the fact that even with cheats, you can't get the Abrams as a call-in, whereas in this
I'll
game,
help you out.
I'll just spoil it right now, you can definitely get the Abrams as a call-in, and it's pretty good. Alright, now if luck prevails, we'll be able to do this in one attempt.
You need to get at least half the rum to the party.
We need half the rum, they said. Okay, so we're going to have to be a little less crazy. Oh, there's no roof this time. That's interesting. Alright. There's nothing blocking our path this time, so it looks like we can just drive straight out.
Get that good stuff over to L'Argentina. Try not to drive like a maniac and you won't lose the rum.
Yeah, that's dandy, but have you considered the fact that what if other people are trying to drive into me like a maniac? Which assuredly they will be doing. Now, you see these Scion trucks driving past us? Not only was that the truck we used for the first Universal Petroleum mission, but this is also, this vehicle we're in is just the pirate reskin of that truck. I prefer it to the one we were using in, I believe, part 2? Perhaps part 1? It was blue and looked kind of like a mid-2000s like F-150. It felt very slow, that vehicle, whereas this one's got some get up and go to it. Now, we are kind of begging for trouble going down this path because we know that there's a section that's not perfectly like flat and you're going to bounce and we're potentially going to lose some cargo there. So, yeah, there we go. I'm just not driving full speed through here to try and compensate for that. And I think we made it past the tough section. Oh, wow! Did you see that on the right there? That was a transport Raven. You do not see too many of those out and about. Cool to see it. Now, try and avoid being next to the Chinese vehicles because that Bradley has anti-tank missiles, TOW. Wire-guided missiles that will catch you in the crossfire and destroy you if you're not careful. Basically there. And with a little luck, we'll cross the finish line unscathed. And that is the second time. Alright, there we go. We did it. Awesome. I am really happy that we got those done in one attempt. And I think as our reward for beating both level 3s, we can go take on the outpost now.
Here you go, boss.
Also, I was wrong about it being 40 fuel. It's 60 fuel for road transport. My bad. Only a couple vehicles are 40 fuel. Stuff like the inflatable we saw before. Perhaps some civilian cars. Alright, let's go ahead and rotor back up. May as well ask you guys watching. I'm curious what everyone's favorite helicopter is, if they have any. There's been a lot throughout the years. They technically existed as far back as World War II, but they weren't really usable until about the Korean War, when we got medical helicopters. And then it wasn't until a little while after that that we really started to get helicopters with ordnance. They do have the disadvantage of being kind of like flying coffins, really. Like, it is so easy for a person with like a Stinger or an Igla on the ground to just shoot a helicopter out of the sky. Or an autocannon with radar, or a missile system that's attached to a larger anti-aircraft platform. Or even small arms can destroy helicopters. They're really not that safe to be in. Which is really funny if you played like Battlefield or this game. You don't really feel that necessarily. Like Battlefield, Battlefield 4 in particular, if you still play it these days, there's people who can go like 200-0 kill streaks in attack helicopters because they just know how to never be destroyed. Which is insane to me. Like, even if everyone on the enemy team is using a Stinger, they're still going to be able to dodge it.
Hey, it's the Merc. Always a good time when the Merc's around.
Make it quick.
Alright, so let's see if... Oh, that was not the button I was looking for. Alright, and we're back.
Make it quick.
Let's see, is there anything now worth having? So, a wave skimmer, no, we already have the inflatable. So that's a no. Let's get the Central Island outpost. We can get the Puma light tank, and importantly, we can get the fuel upgrade. That's what we're really here for. This outpost, it's a little difficult to hit with a helicopter, so just warning you ahead of time. They do have SAMs ready to go, so that is something you're going to have to think about when you're attacking it. Otherwise, it's not too difficult. If you've heard the meme before, the game you love a lot, but then when you get to that part of the game, the pirate side missions for me really exemplify that part of the game. Also, some of the Chinese side missions are brutal, just absolutely unhinged.
They ruined my jacket.
There's one where you're in the Iron Mountain heavy tank, which is their biggest vehicle that's on the ground, and they have you drive it through the UN on a time trial. If you're not allied to the UN when you do that, it's gonna be just like that boat mission, man. Alright, so they're not gonna let us move on until we manage to clear out some of these anti-air missiles, which it's fine. We'll do that. Now we do have access. Oh yeah, be careful approaching these guys because they will punk you. Here. Oh, that's nice. They destroyed themselves, even better. But we are at low health, so we're gonna try and get it out of the way. Call another boarding party just in case these three aren't smart enough to get in. Now, okay, yeah, you definitely actually have to aim when you're using the hunting pistol, otherwise you're not going to hit anything. But we did that pretty simply. Let's go in.
Jennifer Mui, here to kick ass and hang with the pirates.
Glamity Jane.
That's
pretty funny. So we've unlocked another annoying transport mission, though this one I actually kind of have fun with. It is pretty possible to fail it though, so let's go in.
Count your blessings.
This time we're transporting parrots. Alright, here's our truck. Now this is a classic. This dude is always driving around and he always hits you. If you're unlucky, he'll hit some of the parrots out. Well, now thankfully there's no timer on this, it's just based off the amount of cargo you have left. And also thankfully there's more than one path through the island, so you're not limited in your avenues of getting there. You could always try the helicopter thing, but it probably will fail you at least once or twice before you get it to work. There's a path that has a bridge, at least for the first level, but by the second, maybe the third, that bridge is destroyed, so it no longer becomes viable. Just as a fair warning. Now this bridge here, take it very seriously, so you don't fall off or damage your car too bad. Because if this explodes, there's obviously no way for you to get those parrots there. And it doesn't really matter if we have a pirate disguise, because the only faction on the island is the pirates and the VZ. So it's not like you're going to be walking into the UN or anything like that.
Can't deliver the... You've lost too many birds.
Man, that was something else right there, let me tell you. I don't know who had that RPG, but man, you are not my favorite person. That was very rude of you. And for what it's worth, it was probably a pirate who did it.
One of those.
And my basis for saying that is because that area to the right of us is where we dropped the truck off. So, like, unless there's just a random VZ guy there with an RPG just chilling, I think what happened is the pirate was like trying to shoot the iguana with his RPG, and we got caught in the crossfire, which is something I've been warning about. Definitely try and avoid that if at all possible, because it will set you back like you just saw. Now, all in all, thankfully the pirates, I mean, they only have 12 missions, is about what I'm gonna say. But 12 is a lot of missions compared to most factions. And it really boils down to the fact that they needed to find a way to give you the VZ equipment and the pirate equipment. So it kind of makes sense that they have the most missions in that regard. But you know, like, there's such a difference in scope between, like, RP... Oh man, but yeah, no, I'm just so not down with that dude who RPG'd me. He was not nice. There we go. Got level 1. I'm gonna go ahead and investigate this RPG person. Well, well, well. It was a pirate who RPG'd me. What are the odds? Yeah, that's kind of the issue sometimes. Their bloodlust level is up to like 1000%, so you can never really trust that, Oh, okay. By all means, go ahead and get in there. You can never really trust that they're gonna treat you, or they're not just gonna shoot you trying to shoot someone else. So the blue on blue around here is crazy. We're just calling in this helicopter so we can rotor back real quickly to the outpost. Now you might have noticed that the when we went in there it said mainland outpost. That is because that is, I mean, that doesn't indicate that it's the last outpost, but it is for the pirates. They only have 2 compared to, like, if we look at Universal Petroleum has the 4 along with the PLAV. And I believe that China and the UN also have 4, but it could be 3 as well. So, even though they have the most missions, they have the fewest outposts, the pirates, which is kind of neat. It makes sense that they have the lowest presence in terms of territory controlled, because they're all about these islands.
I wish we had 10 more like you, but I guess one of you is enough, eh?
Well, you can afford me.
Alright, let's do level 2.
I'm in.
Now that we know about that guy with the RPG, we shouldn't have too much difficulty avoiding him.
The VZ will be looking for you on this run. And our Jamaican contact needs more of the birds.
As if the VZ weren't looking for us the first time with a roadblock and driving at
I
us.
could shoot some more holes
But
in
they
the
do
boxes.
mean that they're going to be a little more extreme this time, so be careful. Okay. Well, thankfully we only need 28,000, but if we lose much more, we're already out. So we're going to be pretty careful for the rest of this run. Now, it has been decided the next playthrough on this channel is going to be on the original Xbox, King Kong, or Peter Jackson's King Kong, the movie, the game, from 2005. It, like the last 3 games, so including Mercenaries 2, are some of my very favorite games of all time. Or is one of my very favorite games of all time. That one in particular, it's for the atmosphere, the horror elements. I can't praise it highly enough, really. The only downside to that game is, funnily, or ironically even, the King Kong sections where you play as Kong. Because anytime you're playing as him, it's like a worse God of War, kinda.
Good job, man. You're the best driver I ever saw. Worth every penny.
Alright, nice. And that's level 2 under our belt.
Parrot, some of it.
And just for the ease of movement, you know, honestly, why are we calling it a road transport when we can just use transit to get over there? That's probably even faster.
Someone called for a taxi?
Yeah, this pistol's so rad. Kind of looks like it has a muzzle brake on it too, but I can't tell 100%.
Okay, let's do this.
Wow, that was quite the entrance there, Ewan. Oh, not even on the ground either. Oh, nice. Spare part. Yeah, a lot of these spare parts at some point stop becoming like a spare carburetor and start becoming a meme.
I'm glad you came back.
Well, you can afford.
Alright, level 3, here we come.
Yes.
Let's hope we
I'll
get
help
this
you
on the
out.
first try.
Thanks to you, the VZ have a strong presence on the island now. And
Okay, so we're definitely not going to be able to get past it with the threshold we had last time. So let's try and not get punked by this VZ guy with an RPG here, right out the gate, like we did last time. Okay, made it past him, alright. Now, you might be wondering why we haven't tried changing up the... Oh, that is not good. Why is there an enemy helicopter? I do not remember that being a thing. Okay, looks like we lost its attention, thankfully. Uh-oh. Went a little too fast there and lost some cargo. Takes a second sometimes for it to update, so you won't even know you failed for a second. If you're wondering, that I'm pretty sure was a UN helicopter. And, you know, every time I say UN, the game is very clear that it's a front for the US involvement. Almost like a reference to the Great War on Terror and the Iraq War. Watch out for the Capuchin gun truck right here. Whoa, nice explosion. We do have an enemy helicopter above us. Be careful of. I mean, it's making the symbol like it's firing a missile at us, but it isn't. So, oh, it is. And there we go. All right. All right, here we are for round 2. We almost had it, but we got punked right at the last second.
And the pirates.
Not to worry. We'll try again.
Where did they get all these birds?
Now, I did notice there were 2 helicopters on that path. We're still gonna try it again. Hope for the best. Those are VZ helicopters, so it's not because we're enemies of the faction. I think we were really unlucky to be hit by the anti-tank missile there, because usually those Kestrels don't even fire them. so I think perhaps we were going a little too slow. We'll see if it matters on this attempt. We definitely turned a little too early there. You know, doing these driving sections is kind of having me wonder if anyone on the channel would like to see a racing game played. I mean, eventually, perhaps. It's not on my priority at all, but I'm a fan of the Forza series, so I wouldn't mind doing something like Forza Motorsport 4, or perhaps like Need for Speed Most Wanted 2010. Fine with both of those games. And oh, thank goodness we managed to defeat that section. That is my helicopter now. I'm gonna punish you for that one. I'm not gonna lie, big dog. If you don't get destroyed, you are so mine. Yeah, come here. I got something to say to you. That felt good. You might recognize that shanty sound. Almost the exact same design was used for Tutorial Island all the way back in episode 1. Now, if you're wondering what the other path looked like, you drive through that for one, and then there's this bridge you have to drive over, which is broken, so you'd have to make the jump. And it is precarious, to say the least, to try and make that jump. Alright, here we are. On to the final pirate outpost.
Parachute would be favorite right now.
Don't worry about it. I'm glad you came back. Lots of fun stuff for you to do.
Well, you can afford.
Let's see if there's anything worth buying now. No. Pretty much not. I think the jammer is a little interesting. So the jammer, I think this can be used for taking out enemy transmissions, so like they can't call in reinforcements and lower your faction standing. So I am going to get a couple of them. That does not mean we're going to use it. It means maybe I'll consider using it. Now, for doing this, we're going to get the Anaconda, which is something we will assuredly use. Now, for this outpost, your best bet, let's think here. So it's on the mainland. There's a bunch of SAM sites. So what I can recommend more so than anything, oh yeah, a VZ helicopter, for example. Get the disguise up on our way to the outpost. Not too early though, because yeah, you run the risk of running into a American helicopter gunship, as you can see there. Don't really want to mess with those. They carry quite a bit of ordnance. They're very effective. Now, if you can see the weird looking texture that's not quite loaded in properly, it's really yeah, there we go. The cliff is loading in finally. Limestone from the looks of it. That's our outpost. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that camo up before we get sniped by some AA system. Alright, and we're good. Okay, so I know for a fact there are SAMs down here. I know for a fact there are tanks down here. Well, I actually don't know about the tank. There might be a tank. We're going to take care of the SAM first, though. That is for sure. Oh, hello. How's it going? Alright, that's no longer an issue. Next is the helicopter. Alright, now, it's possible that these guys in here are going to have SAMs on them, so be careful. And thankfully... Now, I don't think this will destroy the main building. I think you're safe to just blow that up. Okay, good. I think we're outside of the range of most of the SAMs. Oh, nope. Alright, that was a good indication. In our guard towers here, we got Sam. No, these aren't Sams. These are man pads. With which I wish I could tell you what that acronym meant. I don't know offhand, so if anyone in the comments does, please tell me. And I'd be happy
Beautiful female mercenary.
to try and remember that for next time it comes up.
Pirates are delivering some reinforcements to help you out.
Alright, awesome. Looks like we were successful in at least taking out the anti-air that was near enough to our pirate friends. Calling another one just in case they're not smart enough to figure this out. Like this guy taking my helicopter, for example. Let's not do that. AI certainly loves taking helicopters they see on the ground. And you know, for what it's worth, how excellent is the helicopter training paying off in this country and all these organizations that every single grunt knows how to fly a helicopter. That is an accomplishment if I've ever heard one.
The British Merc. I heard all about you. You're making it real easy for us here.
Queen Stoosh? Huh.
Make it quick.
Interesting name. Now, we are 100% buying the Anaconda. We're getting 10 of those. We're probably going to even use all 10. There's a good chance. I love me the Anaconda. And this, thank goodness, is our final pirate mission that we got to do 3 of. We've got to drive.
Yes.
You want to guess? A pickup truck with a bunch of stuff in the back. In this case, I'm pretty sure organs. And we're getting him to, I think, like the Red Cross is the meme. So like the idea is like we're supposed to think of these pirates as like pretty much evil in terms of like their alignment, but that's ignoring the fact that they are in this mission helping people by getting organs out to the people on the black market, which I guess is morally okay. I don't know. We'll see how they frame it, and I'll decide.
What's in the boxes?
I don't know, and I don't want to know.
Now, this mission, they are going to be pulling some major kung fu treachery to try and mess with us. You might notice that there is, in fact, a timer. So not only do they want you to, well, at least it's only like 1 or 2 of the bags need to make it. Well, actually boxes, looking at it. But you need to make it within time as well. And this is the very first time in game that we've been across this bridge, which is really cool. Fun fact, if you come here before the world is expanded and the UN's introduced, there's still UN vehicles there regardless. A little immersion breaking, but I don't think they really expect you to be over there until this point in the game anyway. Now we're going to go down this road since it's the obvious one. But yeah, there is going to be a bunch of kung fu treachery ahead of us. Yeah, like that exploding out of nowhere. Oh man, that tower sure is nice on the left there. Oh, that's exploded out of nowhere. Awesome. What about that tower on the right? Surely that won't explode out of nowhere. Oh, it did. You guys remember the logs from that monster truck mission on, I believe, episode 2? Guess what? They're back. I never really had a problem with the logs. If you actually wait long enough to let them impact you, like they will mess your car up, sure. Now these gun trucks, I have been stymied by them once or twice. Like this is a mission that you can fail. Every pirate mission's like that. They aren't messing around. Nice black car there. Just about made it around the corner. Thankfully, I don't recall RPGs being an issue in this one, like our... Bruh.
Careful! There's enough boxes and its job failed.
That was rude. Alright, we got it.
Cover me! Oh, thank God.
These organs will save lives.
Job done. Delivery complete.
Alright, like that. We got level 1 taken care of. Let's go ahead and take transit to get back there. Probably the fastest way possible.
On my way. Try and stay alive until I get there, eh?
Where you want to go, boss?
There we go.
Advancing.
Alright.
As long
Well, you can.
And let's go ahead and accept part 2.
I'll do it.
Hope for the best. Take a short jog out to the truck and then get this started. I'll take special care not to randomly ram into a, or well, I guess T-bone myself into a civilian car right at the end.
I don't know, and I don't want to know.
Now, I do find it kind of nice how they don't really expect you to get, like, barely any of the organs there. And also, what do you mean you don't know and you don't want to know? The dude told you they were organs at the end of the level 1. I mean, whatever. I'm not going to get too worried about it. Most of the issues with this game can be hand-waved with they didn't have enough time to make it properly. I mean, for those of you who played Pandemic's LucasArts games, those are also rushed, and they do a pretty good job under pressure. Like, Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2005 was made in 10 months. And for the longest time, that was my favorite game of all time. By the way, you can guarantee there will be a playthrough of the single player at the minimum in on this YouTube channel. I possibly will do Galactic Conquest depending on how it goes. Oh jeez, that was spooky. Nice job actually hitting me. I think that's the first time a gun truck's managed to punk me. Now, if you're gonna fail, these sections here can get you. Because the way that those fall isn't going to be the same every time.
Watch out!
And since we're talking about Star Wars Battlefront 2 and kind of that earlier prequel Clone Wars era, I much prefer Tamara Morrison voicing the clones than his successor, who voices the clones starting in Filoni's Clone Wars. I'm just not a fan of the Filoni Clone Wars. Nothing happens really, and it's just the same thing over and over again, it feels like. And before you say I haven't watched it, I did watch like 3 seasons of it, and if you watch 3 seasons of anything and don't like it, you shouldn't watch more, in my opinion. Although I don't even really believe in the 4-episode rule for like anime. Some people think that you should watch 4 episodes before you really decide if you like something or not. First impressions matter to me in terms of an anime.
Delivery complete.
But thankfully, for my favorites, I'm pretty easy to convince, or I was easy to convince. So like, if you're familiar with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is fairly mainstream, I was convinced from part 1 even, before stands existed. I loved the show pretty much right from the get-go. It hooked me in. And then my favorite anime of all time, Legend of the Galactic Heroes, man, I consider that like a modern day Odyssey. It's an epic, really. It's fantastic. I could go on and on about it. So I won't. Perhaps one day maybe I'll do a review. For the time being, though, the content that you can expect on this channel is pretty much going to be always Let's Plays. I do have something cooking up in the works, though, with my friend Shadow Forks that you guys perhaps will enjoy. I certainly hope so.
as long as you keep
You need help with something.
But until then, let's focus on getting part 3, and ideally, let's do it on the first try. Alright. Go ahead and take a short jog over here to our truck again. Let's begin.
What's in the boxes?
I don't know. And I
They're
don't
still
want to
pretty.
know.
I mean, this is level 3, right? The other level 3s have felt a lot more brutal. Like the timer is 6 minutes. It's fine. I never felt like the time was an issue. And then only $8,000 worth of organs required. I mean, that's fair, honestly. Like that doesn't seem like too hard of a task to accomplish. Now, do make sure you honk. I don't know if I've mentioned it up until this point. The UN do not care for the pirates.
Heavy pursuit.
So if you don't honk, they're gonna shoot at you. Not that I see. Oh, there's a UN truck. Yeah, definitely the Humvee out of all of like the technicals and small troop carriers is the best, just because it's actually got closed doors. It's not open to the air. But even then, it's not like it's that high of a bar being the best of the light troop carriers. I do like how many different variants there are. Like you got a grenade launcher one, an anti-tank one. There's even a an AA model that's pretty cool. Well, that was rude.
There's another crate on the street. It's okay.
We're still
Keep it
okay.
safe.
Yeah,
Don't lose any
exactly. Just don't lose any more. Truck got us pretty good that time.
Watch out!
I really got to hand it to the people who like pick up the logs and reset up the trap between the different attempts. Like, oh, and even better, the dude who rebuilds the smokestack and then destroys so it could be destroyed again. Like within what, 2-3 minutes, however long it takes us to do this. It's definitely where you get a bit of that arcadey feel from this game. That's a little much. I don't know if it's too much on the arcade side. I think if there were less of this type of mission, it would be better, in my opinion, because there are way too many missions where they just have you going through this kind of chungus. But we did it, so might as well stop complaining. We've actually managed to get through all of those annoying delivery missions. I feel elated at that fact that it didn't take so long. Like we only failed like what, 3 or 4 times, something like that. Because now it's time to take out some of that frustration on the enemy using our new vehicle, the Anaconda. So
Here you go,
first,
boss.
we're gonna go ahead and do the destroy target missions, and then after that, we'll take on the HVTs for the pirates. Now, you might be wondering what is the point of the gunner seat on these if you can only play by yourself. Like I mentioned before, co-op was a feature. I don't think you can access it anywhere though without like extensive jury rigging of the system, because the EA servers for this have been shut down for over a decade at this point, I'm pretty sure. It might be possible to play it on PS3 just because they never took the online down for, well, PlayStation Online is still there, or whatever it's called. I don't recall. I personally have a,
I've located a pirate HVT near your position.
what's the word I'm looking for? A boycott against Sony, because they locked me out of my PS4 a couple years ago when someone else had frauded me and made me go through like 20 hours of customer service to try and get back in. And that really endeared me against Sony from that point. Alright, so yeah, we need to just go straight forward here, get to this island. Which is a shame, because, well, not necessarily. They're very anti-consumer now. That's why I'm boycotting them. If I felt like it was a shame, I wouldn't do it. But earlier Sony was worth paying for. Like, they made some really cool movies, like Spider-Man with Sam Raimi. Well, they funded it. I wouldn't say they made it. There's a bunch of cool exclusives on the PlayStation 1 and 2. I really am a fan of the PS2. It was my first video game console that wasn't mobile. Like, my first video game console ever was a Game Boy Advance SP, and I had Fire Red, and I played that all the time. And but the PS2 was the first system I had to myself, and the first game I had on it was Lego Star Wars 1. That's probably why I'm so fond of the series, just because of that memory of it. Alright, now, it's pretty simple. I don't think there's too many SAMs, so we're just going to go in and blow up these targets.
There's a target. Take it out.
If you see, like, we're going to definitely take the low-hanging fruit. If we see oil next to a target, we're going to blow it up, just because it prevents us from using a rocket.
There's a target. Take it out. You make it look easy.
I wonder if that's one.
Good job. You make it look easy.
It's hard to fire only one rocket. We have 80, and if we wanted to get more, I'll just go into like an outpost and restock my ammo.
You make it look easy.
Alright, that island is clear. 5 out of 11. It's really funny how simply you can handle this. Oh hey, Universal Petroleum, how's it going? Don't worry about that. It's not a problem at all. Just fly away.
I always feel
Oh,
very
would you look at that?
safe
It's taken care of.
being several miles
Nice.
away from you.
Now, if you want to be stealthy about it, you can, oh, hold on, my bad, sorry. You can just pick up this oil container, go really high in the air, and drop it, and that will usually be enough to destroy anything down below. But, admittedly, as a kid, I was a lot better at this kind of thing, and my skill for it's gotten a lot worse, so we'll see if I actually can pull it off. I'm only going to do the one attempt, so if it fails, then there you go. Exactly, see what I mean? It's just a lot simpler to just shoot the oil, in my opinion. That didn't work. Curious. Round 2.
Zero in on that target.
There we
I
go.
always feel very
One to the left here, we'll go ahead and get first.
several miles away from you.
I hope, despite all my glazing for the Anaconda, it's coming across how effective this vehicle is. You really can get some work done in it. We've been in it for, what, 2 minutes now? We've already almost destroyed every single enemy target that is available for us. Like that one.
I always feel very safe being several miles away from you.
Yeah, I will admit that of all the side missions, the destroy targets are by far my favorite to do. They're short and sweet, and you have a lot of different ways of approaching it, whether it be through a tank shell, like you saw in Part 4, through C4, like you saw in, I think, Part 2, maybe Part 3. Artillery strikes, air strikes, helicopters, you name it. It's one thing this game handles really well is destruction. That's why the first game's suffix is Playground of Destruction. And World in Flames also kind of works for this one. Although I think Playground of Destruction is a little bit of a better title. Did that really not work? Always kind of amazed by that. But not to worry, that's why there are 2 oil things on it.
Zero in on that target.
There we go.
I always feel very
2 more to go.
safe being several miles away from you.
I was about to say, I'd be pretty surprised if this wasn't one of them.
Zero in on that target.
Oh wow, I didn't even have to do anything on that one.
I always feel very
Maybe I didn't have to do anything, I don't
several
know.
miles away from you.
Alright, last one, here we go. Bottom right here. So if you're wondering what I was talking about with the crane, I mean, I don't think it's called a crane now that I'm looking at it. Like, but this is what I wanted to walk out on while we were watching the explosion happen, that little extension right there.
You're near a target.
There we go. We've unlocked the Condor. Now, I mentioned helicopters that can pick up different, like, things. The Condor is one that can pick up tanks and very heavy objects. It is also massive. If you recall the Lucky Ladies, the thing that drops off our tanks, that is the, well, it's either the Jade Transport or it's the Condor. They're both the same model, just painted different, pretty sure. So we've got an HVT up here we're going to deal with. Now, this is, we're not going to employ the advanced strategy yet for dealing with HVTs. We're not quite there. We're close. Don't get me wrong, we're close. But we are just going to go ahead and... Whoa! Hey guys, come on. Let's chill. Let's chill. Let's chill. Let's chill. Let's chill. Just using the rockets here, not because they're the preferred weapon, but because I'm not trying to aim with the gun. It's a little easier to hit with the area effect on the rockets. We got plenty of them, as you can see. We're going to clear out the rift raft before we worry about trying to take on our query here. Now this tank's got to go as well.
Out of ammo.
Boom. There we go. Perfect. Alright, let's go ahead and handle this HVT. Oh, hold on, he's got a friend still. Ooh, nice. Yeah, if you even, like, hit someone with a minigun, they're pretty much going down, so it's nice.
Got to be some ammo around here.
Looks like there's still a couple on the ground, though. Oh, he's dead. If that goes off, yeah. I mean, more than likely. We'll see. I'm curious. Oh, that was beautiful. I am so glad that hit him, actually, now that that happened. Wow, that was awesome. Yeah, go ahead and call me in, pal. See how it happens. There we go. He's taken care of. Pretty low on munitions, so let's go ahead and just walk inside and outside of this outpost over here before we go anywhere else. Helps that it's on the way. Now you might notice that the landing gear actually deploys from inside the helicopter. I think that's a nice touch that they did that. Point in the realism factor.
We like having you around, Mercenary. You make it all look easy.
You need help with something.
And with an anaconda, it is easy. The covert supply drop, like, they give you a silenced weapon, but it's effectively worthless. We will get the Condor, just in case there's a particular meme I'm thinking of that we might engage. And then the Mosquito AA is fun as well, so we'll get some of those. We might use it. We'll see.
See you around, eh?
Alright, so this next mission, well, HVT, is going to be up in the upper left corner of the island that the pirates make base on. Gonna take us a minute to fly there. So I suppose while we're enjoying this, I guess we'll call it sun, let's see, it's the west, sunset. Might as well ask you guys what your favorite faction is in this game. I did try and ask that question in the Part 4 commentary, but it got scrubbed when I accidentally muted myself, so I'll go ahead and properly ask it here. And if I didn't, apologies if it was a different part that I've already asked that. Perhaps your answer's changed since then, who knows. I'm still inclined to say that the Chinese are my favorite faction, but they do have some annoying missions, so you know what, maybe my answer's changed to the UN today. You know, it could be a day-to-day kind of thing. Anyways, let's go ahead and take care of this riffraff.
How nice for me.
Really nothing crazy. Just a couple Venezuelans guarding this guy. Really, I just want to make sure none of them steal my helicopter, so I kill enough of them that isn't an issue. Speaking of, hello. There, we got him. I think there was one more down here. Oh, a couple more. Okay.
You picked the wrong side.
You know, that sound effect almost... It reminds me a lot of the Call of Duty 4 World at War revolvers. In fact, I don't actually remember if COD 4 had a revolver now that I'm thinking about it, but I know World at War does with the 38. Or no, the 357 Magnum.
Pirate helicopter inbound.
Oh, you know what that sound effect's reminding me of? It's the Red Dead Revolver reload animation for the revolvers. Now that I can think about it. Alright, now let's go down south. Got a ways to go, but we're going to be taking this thing pretty much all the way through unless it gets blown up. And if it does, we'll probably just call another one in. Have I mentioned that I like the Anaconda? Now the film Anaconda with Ice Cube, I remember it scaring me as a kid, and that's basically it. It takes place in a jungle. That's all I remember about it. If any of you down in the comments recall the film, let me know if it's worth watching, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's one of those movies that are so bad that they're good. Count Vason is quite fond of that genre. In fact, if I have a hard time believing him when he says a movie is good, because every single time he talks about a movie, oh, that movie's amazing. The last time he said that was for a film called Sex Drive, and I don't know if you've seen Sex Drive, but it was not my favorite. Like, Seth Green had a cool role in it as an Amish guy, but that's about the end of it. I mean, there was some... Okay, I'm not going to be too hard on it. There was a couple parts where I laughed. It wasn't a 0 out of 10. It was more like a 3 out of 10, but, you know, you win some, you lose some. And for what it's worth, I do hold the opinion that if you don't know what bad media is, it's really hard knowing what good media is. So, like, when I played Dragon Ball Z Infinite Saga all the way through, that was horrible. But it illuminates how much better other good Dragon Ball Z games are, like Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, which is... I don't know if any of you all played that for the PS2, but it is one of my all-time favorites. I wouldn't exactly call it a fighting game, even though it very clearly is. The term I like to use for it is Dragon Ball Z Simulator, because it's really good at setting up like fights that would happen in the series. It has so many characters. I think Sparking Zero might finally have more than it, but there's just a couple issues I have with Sparking Zero that make me like hesitant about it. For one, I just don't like DLC that much. So like, and we live in the modern gaming world where there's DLC aplenty. I mean, the argument I always have against it is that games manage to come out with... They managed to come out feature complete before. Like, Budokai Tenkaichi 3 has over 200 characters, I think, somewhere around there. And that's just all on disc. They don't ask you to pay an extra $20 or get a season pass, anything like that. And I really appreciate that, especially having to deal with games that did the opposite, like any Call of Duty pretty much. battlefields, stuff like that. Gosh, I remember one time my buddy, he went by Make Me Badly at the time, had bought the 5th DLC Endgame, I think it was, for Battlefield 3, and it wouldn't work. And he was on the phone with EA for, I kid you not, 18 hours before they finally helped him. That kind of thing just, it'll drive you mad. Like when they talk about Kefka's The Trial, Kafka? Yeah, Kafka the Trial, not Kefka. Kefka's the clown dude from Final Fantasy VI, I'm pretty sure. And there's also a 1962 film with Orson Welles I've been meaning to watch called The Trial. It basically is, it's that where you can never really talk to the person you're having a problem with. You're always either dealing with like a machine or someone whose fault it isn't for your issue. So like it makes you look like the bad guy for being mad. Really devious, if you ask me. Alright, let's go ahead and take care of this next HVT. Man, this thing flies like a beauty. Just gotta keep glazing it some more. I really can't help it, man. After using like the Castro and the rogues with no armament, this thing feels like a dream. So if you're playing Mercenaries 2, get yourself some Anacondas. These are amazing. I was tempted to swear there. Yeah, by all means, you can do whatever you like. I'm just gonna rocket you. Oh hey, there's a tank.
Great, another tank.
Alright, that's taken care of. Just want to make sure everything's taken care of before we land, so we don't get negative reputation. Though, at this point, it really doesn't matter if we get negative reputation, because we've already bought everything we're going to want from Universal Petroleum. And we've done all their missions, so...
Beautiful female man.
There we go. Let's go ahead and take care of the guy inside. I know I didn't just watch you get in my...
Pirate helicopter inbound.
Nice range there, man. This pistol's awesome. It's the pocket cannon I really wanted. Because that's how I want revolvers to feel in-game, is a pocket cannon to really make it worth having those, only the 6-round capacity. Are you far enough away? He's so far away, he's not even aggroed. Oh well. Well, they managed to get the backup in. But, you know, there are worse things. Let's go ahead and get back in our Anaconda. Now, there's... Oh, yeah, if you're negative with the faction, they're not going to let you restock or even go into their outposts. They'll shoot you on sight. Which, like, whatever. They're an oil company. Mercenaries, so... Not my problem. It's not like they sell the Anaconda. As far as early game tanks go, the Jaguar is definitely the best, especially the Jaguar heavy tank. It's like maybe 100% better than the Thai tank we were using before that. I can't remember the name of it though already. Let's check. Yeah, the Mantis. Cool name. Cool paint job. Just doesn't really have enough health to feel like it's got a good longevity. Let's go ahead and take out these gorillas. You gotta be careful aiming because you can really dance around them with the shots here. Now, when we get to the Chinese and the... uh-oh. Yeah, we touched the... touch the tree there, so the rotor stopped. Thankfully, it didn't break.
One more dead Marxist.
Yeah. So when we get to the Chinese and the American helicopters, they could make an argument that the Anaconda is the best in the game. And I mean, it would make sense for me to make that argument since how positive I've been talking about it. But I actually don't believe that. It's my opinion that the best helicopter is probably the Warsong attack helicopter that the Chinese get. Got a good balance of rockets. It's got even better mobility. And instead of a minigun, you get a handy-dandy autocannon. And let me tell you, that autocannon works wonders. Not only because it's just really effective against infantry, it hits light vehicles as well, and it has an area of effect compared to the minigun, so you can afford to be a little less accurate. Which I appreciate, because there's a lot of precision aiming you're going to need to do. Trying to get people on the ground, and sometimes you need to do it in a certain amount of time if you want to successfully get through the area. Oh, come on, bro.
Pirate helicopter inbound.
Huh. Interesting. We gotta be careful. One or two more bursts, we're dead. Okay, good, we got it. Yeah, they are so happy to steal your helicopter from you. It's actually kind of insane, really. In fact, I'm trying to decide if I think it's a good thing or not that every single NPC in this game can fly a helicopter. It would definitely make it feel like there's less of a risk dealing with enemy units, so it'd probably feel easier. And I don't know if being easier would be worth it being less annoying. So it's hard to say. It's one of those things that I can't really think of too many other games where it's a feature, where every single NPC in the game can fly a helicopter. Okay, you know what? My bad. Not every single NPC, because civilians are never going to try and fly a helicopter. I'm pretty sure the VIPs that you escort aren't going to try and fly a helicopter. So in case you've been mad at me saying like that every one of them could, I was being a little not facetious.
Here you go, boss.
Word for it. If I think of it, I'll say it. Exaggerative, I guess. I mean, that works. Oh, hyperbolic. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's what I was telling you about. That is it right there. The helicopter bug. Where it's like, oh, you want this helicopter? Well, what if we just disappeared instead? Yeah, that's definitely a good reason to have extra oil around and buy extra copies of things, because you never know if you're actually going to get the helicopter you paid for. Thankfully, the second time we got an Anaconda. Alright, and we have 5 HVTs left. Looks like there's one in the corner here down below the Amazon. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go after these 4 in a line, starting from the top right to the top left to the bottom right, and then we're going to fast travel to the outpost and then go for that last one. And then we'll call the episode. For those of you who have watched through the entire episode, I can't thank you enough, and really just thank you for watching in general. As of recording this, I passed the 500 viewer milestone, and I'm so excited. I have the goal right now to hit 1,000 views and 100 subscribers. I have a feeling that I'll hit 1,000 views long before I'll hit 100 subscribers, but you know, if you feel like you want to subscribe and you're watching this and you haven't already, by all means, nothing's stopping you. I'd be happy to have you. I'll keep uploading in the future, so it's not like I'm just gonna go silent like some YouTubers. At least as far as I'm aware. Alright, so you might notice that that tank was built of a bit of sterner stuff compared to the last tanks. It just took a full 4 AT missiles to actually get through, which pretty impressive, honestly. Now, these are Chinese we're shooting at, and because we haven't activated China, I don't actually think they can call anybody in to mess with us, which I find utterly hilarious, by the way. I didn't know that, because I've never actually done it this way before. I always activate the Chinese and the Americans by going to Fiona and doing that introduction thing that we've done for the other factions. So this is basically just a freebie. So yeah, if you want it to be a little simpler, I kind of recommend doing something like this. It was really funny.
Get that helicopter!
Beautiful female mercenary in.
Now what I find interesting is like what it reveals about the different factions based on the fact that the pirates want them. Usually the pirates want to take someone in because they didn't pay them. So that means they're already engaging in corruption. So you kind of get a sense that no one's perfect here, PLAV included. And I was wondering where some damning evidence against the PLAV would come from to see if this game was entirely pro-communist. And I think I finally found it. The fact that the pirates, they owe the pirates money, which it's not inherently a bad thing to owe pirates money, but it certainly lends itself towards organized crime and like kidnapping, racketeering, the drug trade, which I don't think is necessarily a problem, but like murder, which it certainly is. It's definitely something to think about. If you're curious what the devs think about the factions, I'm pretty sure they feel like everyone is bad, just to various degrees. Oh hey, would you look at that? It's the UN. Nice Bradley you got there. Take care of that. Oh darn, you got the Chingy on just in time. Really unfortunate. I was hoping we could dodge that.
Good thing the US doesn't have a body count.
Get that helicopter!
Man, really excellent job on the reloads there on the rocket. That is faster than humanly possible by about 50 times, I'd say.
One dead Allied soldier.
Get that helicopter!
Alright, let's go ahead and bag and tag our guy.
You're gonna be in a world of hurt.
Maybe. I kind of doubt it, though.
Pirate helicopter inbound.
Yeah, this pistol's so sick. Oh, is there no outposts nearby. And we are out of munitions, effectively. Oh, I know you're not thinking about trying to take the helicopter.
I think this is it.
The melee in this is pretty satisfying. If you hit them, they're going down.
Enemy soldiers approaching. Get to the chopper.
Alright, 3 more to go. Alright, keep going southeast. We'll eventually hit them. There we go. Now this section, there's actually quite a bit of heavy Venezuelan like presence, or VZ presence, would be a better way to put it. Eventually the Allies and the Chinese are going to want us to complete some missions over here. Well, side missions, not main missions, certainly. Let's see. Right to the left. So we are out of explosives completely, just got the minigun, so we're definitely going to have to be a little careful there. If there is a tank nearby, I have a little bit of a solution for it. Check this out, it's really awesome. Oh, that's an Iron Mountain heavy tank right there. I don't think we're going to be able to lift this up. Oh. That was awesome. Alright, now because we're friends with the Chinese, they're not going to bother the fact that I just stole this. Oh yeah, that's right. Best tank in the game, temporarily mine. Let's go ahead and move. Now, there is a number next to that wheel in the bottom left. We're on 3, which I imagine means that it's the highest tier vehicle. You can kind of tell. The only thing this tank is lacking is a autocannon secondary. And the Abrams doesn't have that either. It's all about the main gun on this one. The armor is also quite good. Someone hit us or something. Now, you might be wondering, why doesn't every tank have a coaxial like autocannon instead of a machine gun? And a lot of it boils down to weight and space within the tank. Like, you could put an autocannon on it, but you gotta consider, is there room for 2,000 rounds of 20mm? Or however many they decide to have, and if you had put in a 7.62 instead, which is the standard rifle round, how much more would you be able to carry? Like, the difference between 400 rounds and 4,000 rounds is quite a few. Especially considering when you can't effectively resupply in a short amount of time. So if you got to be in mission for longer, that's something to really consider. Alright, so we've got 2 more to go. The last one is right over the hill, so we're just going to go ahead and use the tank to do that. If you recall from, I believe it was either part 1 or part 2, when we drove up the mountain with the APC, just straight up. Kind of similar to that, although a lot less extreme here. Oh, hello. Nice rocket rover through that. I'm just gonna kill this guy. That's simple. Yeah, shouldn't be surprised when he did that. Now let's try and hijack it, see if we can. Or see if we can pull it off. Oh, there we go. Whoa, choking him out. Alright. Yeah, that's crazy. I wasn't... So I think how it goes is you have to be fast at a certain threshold to pull it off. So if we're not fast at the very earliest bit, he's going to eventually overpower us. Wow! Yeah, I mean, I haven't not been able to do a QTE since, like, let's think, Mortal Kombat Deception, something like that? Oh man, that's good. No, this is honestly perfect. This is so funny. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. A lot simpler to take the Bradley there. Alright, and then let's just make sure we quickly destroy the enemy tank so nothing goes crazy. There we go, much better. Use the Bradley's autocannon to take out some of the riffraff near us. Fun fact, pretty sure the Bradley was originally supposed to have a 20mm. And it was upgraded to the 25mm autocannon that we know today. And it was also not supposed to have missiles originally, nor a turret. So, and I believe it was supposed to carry like somewhere between 12 and 16 soldiers, and it now can only carry around 8. So in terms of like a troop carrier, it definitely fails at the idea, like when it takes 2 instead of 1, you have to be a country like the US that can afford that.
If you're ever feeling a little bit lost, come.
Alright, now to the southwest is our final objective
I might be able to offer you a few suggestions.
for the episode, and then we'll be done. I mean, I'm really glad that y'all were here with me, like I said a little bit earlier. It's definitely a longer one. I pray that the audio works just fine. We'll see. I'll find out in recording afterwards. Alright, check this out. This is going to be awesome.
Thanks, or do we have a...
If you keep this up, the gorillas are going to become hostile.
Uh-oh. Well, there goes our HVT. Here. Oh, that didn't destroy the building? That's not good. Alright, let's just try and scan him then. And hope for the best. Alright, we did it! Awesome! Let's try and get out of danger before I end the episode. I do not care if they call in support against me. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. That helicopter kind of looks like a good way to get out of danger.
The gorillas are going to become hostile.
Alright, well, it looks like we made it out of harm's way. So with that, we'll call it the end of the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to Part 6 of Mercenaries 2. Next time on Part 7, we're going to meet the UN and Chinese forces. And we'll either do all of the Chinese or UN side objectives. It's going to be one after the other, so you can expect that for Part 7 and Part 8. And then Part 9 will be the story missions for the UN, because we're going down that path in this playthrough. And Part 10 will be our finale. So thank you very much. I hope you're excited. Until then, Auf Wiedersehen.